Hi, my name's Gay, and I've had stage 4 lung cancer for the last 6 years. I was diagnosed in 2011, and my first line of treatment was in London, obviously on the NHS at the Royal Marsden, chemotherapy. I don't think they really thought it was going to work, but when they did the scan after 2 cycles, they found actually miraculously the tumour started to shrink, and so we went on with it. I had the full 6 cycles over a 4-month period, and at the end of that the tumour had shrunk considerably, and I was able to go away for the next year, and I didn't have any conventional medicine at all. I went to see some healers, and I watched my diet, and I did my own versions of complementary therapy. After that time was up, I had a scan, and it showed that the tumour had started to grow again. At this stage, I was given, again by the NHS, a pill called Tarceva that you just take every day, which has some unpleasant side effects to start with, but they wear off, and after that you're able to just live your normal life taking a pill every day. This lasted for 18 months without progression. At the end of 18 months, the scan showed the cancer had now come in my liver. This was all whole another ball game, really. First thing to do was to be sure that it was still lung cancer in my liver, and when it was ascertained that it was by the biopsy also showed that I had a mutation, EGFR, which they had a drug to attack at that time on trial called AZD 1920. And so I went on a trial in Manchester this time for AZD, again a pill you take every day. This one had probably less side effects than the first one, and I took it this time for 2.5 years, all the time obviously watching my diet, but unfortunately unable to take too many supplements of any variety, because when you're on a trial you can't. Anyway, unfortunately at the end of the summer the AZD stopped working so well, and the tumours started to grow again.
Here I am in Istanbul, the ChemoThermia clinic. I'm sitting in the hyperbaric oxygen room with my wife, who has been suffering from cancer for over 6 years now. She has lung cancer, adenocarcinoma, and we have been treated in the UK for the period of her disease. Initially it was the chemo that we started, as always. That lasted for about just over a year, and then we progressed on to Tarceva. Tarceva did very well. There was a few bad side effects that were easily overcome. That lasted for over 15 months, and then finally she had the right kind of mutations in the progression of the disease that allowed her to go into a trial in Manchester at the Christie Hospital in Manchester, and she went on to a trial of Brito, which was very effective, and she survived another 2.5 years with that regime. But finally, in November last year, 2016, the disease started progressing again, and we came off the trial, went back to the Marsden, where we tried to get onto another trial. Gay has a genetic mutation called CMET. Now this mutation is a very rare one. She was very lucky enough to have it, because there was a very good and effective treatment path made available, and it is reliant upon a drug called crizotinib, However, at the last hurdle, she failed due to one of her blood levels not being correct. And so we had to resort back again to chemo. Now this chemo, as we all know, is not very effective. It's quite hard to endure. And we did look at that period of 3 or 4 months of having to endure and then seeing what the next stage would be. During that time, we looked at other options that were available. We went to Germany to have a look at a clinic there. It was very efficient, very expensive, and didn't quite ring the right bells to us. And then we came across an oncology nurse called Patricia Peat in the UK. And Patricia had just returned from this clinic and was very impressed by some of the results that they've got here. It's a very, very integrated therapy that they offer. Whether or not it's chemo, which they specialize in, but in a very lightweight version of it, because they add a lot of extra, like the hyperbaric oxygen sense, like PP, some complementary additions to some complementary additions to the actual drug that she's taking now.
And now we had to think what is going to be the next step. So the next step was another biopsy. They did another biopsy and they found out this time that I had grown new mutation, c-Met. Again, this is a rare mutation, and they had a trial going on for it at Manchester. So I was going to go on that trial, but at the last minute, one of my blood tests was not all right, and I was unable to go on it. So back to square one, back to the Marsden, no trial. What am I going to do now? Went back to my original oncologist. He's absolutely great. And he said, well, the only thing that I can really recommend is more chemo. It worked before, it'll probably work again. There is a drug which is targeted to c-Met called crizotinib, but unfortunately I can't prescribe it to you on the NHS, and it's extremely prohibitively expensive if you buy it for yourself. So let's try chemo first. So I started chemo a few weeks ago, but I have to say, I didn't really think I was doing the best I could for myself. We met and took advice from a woman called Patricia Peat, who is an integrated practitioner. She's interested in conventional and complementary therapies working hand in hand, and she gave me a lot of supplements to take to help me through the chemo. And we really thought that that was that. Anyway, suddenly out of the blue, she sent an email saying that I've just come back from Istanbul. I've been to a really interesting clinic there, and I've met a great doctor, and I really think that he could help you. So I thought, wow, Istanbul. Goodness. Anyway, my husband sent him my full medical history, and they had a bit of email contact, all very prompt replies and everything. But you know what, this really sounds good. The clinic here deals with, they do a chemo that's very special, chemo targeted to the actual cancer cells, much less side effects, works better. So we thought, okay, let's go for it. So we just jumped on a British Airways flight over here. I gotta say, I personally wasn't that worried about coming here because security and bombs and things. But if I had been, I would have been put at ease when I got here, because we're in a totally residential part of town. Very, you know, I feel very safe here. The doctor sent somebody to collect us at the airport, brought us to the hotel. The hotel is about 5 minutes from the clinic, so it's all very convenient. Came around the first morning, all the notes in front of him, was well aware of my situation. He said, okay, well, we're not going to make a decision of your treatment immediately. You need to have a PET CT scan, and then we'll go from there. So again, very near, round the corner, did the scan quickly, came back here. This stage showed me the bariatric oxygen machine, explained to me about hypothermia and his complementary infusions of vitamin C and things like that. So, well, one thing for sure, you'll be having these, but I don't know what treatment you'll be having quite yet. Professor is coming tomorrow and we'll discuss it. Meanwhile, I think you need to have a brain scan because you've never had one. So off we go again, just like that, 5 minutes walk, MRI scan of the brain, in an open MRI scan and no claustrophobia problems, which I've suffered from before. Back to the clinic, professors here, they've got all the results there, just like that, amazing. And they said, well, actually, I've been thinking about this, and even our chemo is not right for you. What you need to be on is crizotinib, and we can actually supply it to you in Turkey for a lot less than you would have to pay in London. And so that's it, that's where we are now. I am now a patient of this clinic here in Istanbul. I'm getting crizotinib. I've had my first bariatric oxygen and my first hypothermia and my first infusions. Having day off tomorrow, more on Friday, and then I'll fly back to London, and I'll be coming back here once a month to receive the prescription for crizotinib plus the complementary treatment. And you know, really it's everything I want, a great clinic, great doctor, and I really got high hopes for this treatment.
So I got in touch with Dr. Slocum. We had a very quick exchange of emails over a week. He was very efficient in answering back. I sent him all the medical files. We had, within the week, he understood exactly what we'd been to do and was very interested that we were a 6-year survivor of this disease. And we eventually decided, after finding out the cost, that it was well worth us coming here to follow this chemo regime. Although we'd started it in the UK, it was a much better regime because there were less side effects. And the results that they'd had from a number of years of producing this treatment passed, that in fact it was very, very effective, more effective than the chemos that we're going to have in the UK. So we arrived here one evening and we were met by the driver at the airport, driven to the hotel round the corner. And the next morning we appeared at the front desk and had a good meeting with the doctor. Very, very good English, very nice gentleman. And he decided to make his own investigations, so we quickly got into a PET scan, had then an MRI scan on her head, and the next day we were here to get the results with a discussion between Dr. Slocum and some of his professors that work with him here. At that stage it was still an option to do the chemo, but very surprisingly, they plumped for giving us the same drug, crizotinib, that was recommended by our oncologist, Dr. Popat, in the UK. Here it costs about a little more than half price it does in the UK. And the system is simple. The drug is given, we're here for a week, there's complementary therapy, oxygen, heat, various extra drugs to complement the treatment she's been given here. In and out, day to day, very relaxed, easy to take, and what I believe to be very effective. So we return to the UK tomorrow with a month's supply of crizotinib, and in a month's time we return to get another checkup. A month later, and a new supply of pills. A month later we'll come back again to get a PET scan after that to see the efficacy of the the crizotinib, and each time we've been given really good support for the treatment path that we hope will be the best for gay. So don't be afraid. There are a lot of options other than the NHS, and although it's a very good system in the UK, we feel it doesn't offer all the options that are available in the rest of the world, particularly here. So don't be afraid of coming to Istanbul. It's a very nice place. Very enjoyable to be here for a week. It's not intensive, no side effects, and we hope the treatment will work.